What is the most inoffensive thing you've seen someone get offended by? I still remember in kindergarten when my friend and I were reading all the colors out loud on one of those Crayola super packs. I got straight up yelled at and sent to the principal's office for saying orange pizzazz because the teacher said I called someone a piss ass and would not listen despite having the crayon as evidence. After a 30-minute scolding and waiting for my mom to leave work to pick me up for my suspension, she came in all apologetic. When I explained to her the whole situation, not the school's side, Ma went apeshit. I'd heard her say shit once, that's the only swear I ever heard from her, and we had just been rear-ended in traffic. How about cunt? Can he say cunt? 'Cause you're all being cunts right now. This is fucking ridiculous. And just went off while I'm sitting there all, surprised face, and the principal is just red AF. I got unsuspended on the spot, but she pulled me out of school for the day anyway. We had a lovely day and she explained very well how I shouldn't swear like that unless absolutely necessary, and I've exhausted all civility. When being civil simply isn't working, sometimes you might have to call someone a piss ass. The next day at school, I learned that I now had the stigma of being the kid who got the Crayola super pack taken away. Sad face. A surprising amount of people get very offended when you tell them they can't sit and stare at your vagina while you give birth. My mother took a damn picture of my child coming out of my vagina with her head up to her chin sticking out and sent it around to family, and then wonders why I'm so upset with her because it is the miracle of birth and it's beautiful. I've been sitting here trying to come up with some witty joke for your situation, but I'm honestly speechless. Oh my god. I can't imagine. We were choosing a mascot for a summer camp where I worked. It was the first day of camp and we'd always let the campers vote on a mascot that we'd use for the rest of the summer as sort of a bonding thing. This year, the kids voted for wolves as the mascot. It was almost unanimous. But one kid, probably about 9 or 10, threw a fit because wolves are bad guys and predators and killers and he doesn't want to be a wolf, he wants to be a hero. He refused to participate in any team activities because he didn't want to be on a team with the bad guys. At one point, we brought in a guy in a full mascot wolf costume for some anti-bullying program and the kid had a massive tantrum. I almost felt like we were going to learn at some point that his brother was killed by wolves or some other tragic origin story. I did feel bad for the boy because I was fairly certain he had some kind of unaddressed emotional difficulties or something, but we weren't going to change the mascot name that almost everyone voted for. The really sad thing is that wolf populations have suffered a lot due to stereotypes that they're bad. Using a walking stick. I was in a car accident a few years ago and it fucked my leg up. Since then I've been using a walking stick. I was walking to shop, pre-pandemic, and an old bloke gave me the dirtiest look I've ever seen. What do you need a cane for? You're only a kid. He actually got quite pissy just seeing me using a stick. Like, my dude, I'm just out trying to buy some milk, I don't need your shit today. I didn't say that out loud, I just said it to myself after I got home. People like that are the reason my partner doesn't like going out. He's had a few operations on his back and needs his stick as one of his legs has been left weaker than the other. He's had someone try and take his stick as he is walking, I nearly battered them. Maybe 22 years ago, I had a phone interview with a baking company. I didn't care to have my peers know what I was up to, so I took the call on my cell phone in my car. The call was crystal clear and no technical issues. At one point, they had mentioned the weather and asked how it was where I was. I told him that I was sitting in my car and I could see that it was actively snowing and whatnot. The interviewer asked me, "Are you taking this call on a cell phone?" I told him I was. Then he asked me if I thought that was appropriate. I asked him what he meant by that. He said he thought it was kind of rude to take a formal call on a cell phone. I told him I would be more than happy to conclude the interview if talking on a cell phone was an issue. If he was interested, I'd be happy to continue it the next day when I'd be at a desk. He again repeated how rude he thought it was that I had called from a cell phone and that there was no need to continue the interview process. I disagreed with the first point but did agree with the second. To this day, I wonder what the hell he was talking about and where he was coming from. Probably just got over the fact that telephones exist, and wasn't ready to accept the fact that mobile phones aren't a thing made by the devil. I've heard this before. In the early days of cell phones and car phones, calling from one meant the call was an afterthought. If the call was important, you would have arranged to be at a real phone. Of course that's nonsense nowadays, and even back then it wasn't true. It would have been far ruder to take the call on your work phone. Some people can't get with the times. About 10 years ago I interviewed for a secretarial job at a company owned and operated by a pair of older women. Their dress code was absurd. Female employees were required to wear pantyhose at all times. Even if you were wearing pants. Even if you were wearing closed-toed shoes. And they had to be full pantyhose. I mentioned wearing trouser socks, and I think that was the nail in the coffin. I might as well have said I was coming to work naked. Thank you, trouser socks, for saving me from having to decide between my need for a job and my dislike for crazy people.